All right, and we're going to start with $10 bets. All right, so now on my channel, I'm going to test out challenges that I've seen on here. And if you guys want me to test out a challenge for 1 hour, we're going to start with $2,000 bankroll system on every one, unless you suggest that it could be less or more. But we're going to start off most challenges with $2,000 bankroll system. We're going to make it or break it. We're going to give it 1 hour and see how long these strategies can hang on for. I'm going to get these strategies from CEG School. I'll get them from the Roulette Master. I will get them from Will Vegas. I will get them to 35 to 1. Cruising. All great channels that come out with great systems, and we will test these out. And if you know another great channel that has great strategies, let me know in the comments below so I could check them out and I could take their challenges also. And if you have a challenge that you came up with and you'd like me to challenge it, go ahead and write me an email and I'll challenge yours for 1 hour. Okay, I'm going to get right into this. I set the timer for 1 hour and 6 minutes so that I gave myself 6 minutes of talk time. All right, and let's just get right into this system and let's begin. Let me just adjust my camera. There we go. All right, let's get right into it. So we're going to start with $10 here and $10 here. This I've seen on the Roulette Master and I've seen it on several channels. So let's put this one to the test. That's a 27 red. That's a loss right off the bat. So we rebet, and only on the first time we're going to double it. Only on the first time, because we're only going to increase by 1 unit. All right, that's a win. So with that, we're going to go back to base and spin. All right, because we are even. So with my strategies, I don't try to push them. All right, that's a win. I want to try to preserve the bankroll as best I can. So we're going to rebet and spin. I'm all about preserving the bankroll, so I will reset as soon as I'm in profit. I don't reset. There we go. I don't reset on session profit. I reset on profit. Okay. All right, and that's a 24 black, or even if I'm back to even. All right, so that's a nice one, and that's a rebet and spin. I'm all about preserving the bankroll, so that's what we're going to focus on this channel. All right, that's a 9. That's a loss, so we're going to rebet, and we're going to double only the first one and spin. That's a 27 red. All right, that's a loss, so we're going to rebet, and we're going to add 10 and add 10 and spin. That's a 19 red. All right, that's a $30 win. So where are we at? So we're at even. So that's exactly what I'm talking about. So we're going to rebet and spin. Oh, I wasn't supposed to rebet and spin. I was supposed to go back and spin. That's all right. That's a jackpot number. That helped us a lot. Okay, so that's a $120 win. So now we're going to go back to 10 and 10 and spin. Mistakes. See, mistakes can actually win you some money. All right, that's a 24 black. That's a good one. So we're going to rebet and spin. It's a 16. That's another good one. So we're just going to rebet, and spin. That's a 10 black. All right, that's a $20 loss. So we're going to rebet. We're going to double the first one and spin. Only the first one we double. After that, we put $10 on each. That's a 7 red. That's a loss. So we're going to rebet, and we're going to put $10 each on each. And that's, now we're up 80. That's a 25 red. That's another loss. So we're going to rebet, and we're going to go up 10 and 10 and spin. That's a 28 black. That's another loss. So we're going to rebet, and we're going to go 10 and 10 and spin. That's a 9 red. That's a loss. So we're going to rebet, and we're going to go 10 and 10 and spin. That's 27 red. It's another loss. Rebet, 10 and 10 and spin. That's a 3 red. That's another loss. So we're going to rebet and go 10 and 10 and spin. We're down $420 now. It's a 29 black. That's a win. $80 win. Rebet and spin because we're not in profit. 15 black. That's a win. All right, so we're going to rebet and spin. That's a 34 red. That's a loss. So we're going to rebet and go 10 and 10 and spin. That's a 17. That's a jackpot number, but I don't think it takes us high enough, so $360. So what I do with jackpot numbers to preserve the bankroll, I'm going to go down half. So we're going to rebet, and half of 180 is 90, right? Yep. So we're going to go down to 90 bucks. Well, we're going to go to 100 because 90 would break us. That doesn't even make any sense. So we're going to go back down to 100 because I want to preserve the bankroll a little bit. That's a 31 black. That's a loss. So we're going to rebet, and we're going to increase by 10 on each and spin. That's a 6 black. That's a loss. So we're going to rebet, and we're going to go 10 and 10 and spin. That's a 19. That's a good one. So we're going to rebet and spin because it's not going to take us back to even or above. 26 black. That's a win. So we're going to just rebet and spin. 2 more wins and we'll go back to base. If we get 2 more wins like that, 25 red, that's a loss. So we're going to rebet, and we're going to increase by 10 and 10, spin. That's a 32 red. All right, that's a $80 win. Rebet and spin. $8 black. All right, that's another win. Rebet and spin. That's an 11 black. All right, that's a win. Rebet and spin. We're not there yet. 1 more and we'll be there. Hopefully 1 more win. Hopefully 18. That's a win. Yes. All right, so we can go back to base of 10 and 10. I'm going to play this differently because I should have played this like this from the beginning. If I lose here and I'm still above, I'm not going to increase the bet. So that's a 16. We won, so we're going to rebet and spin. I shouldn't be increasing bets unless I'm in the negative. 26 black. All right, that's a win. So we're gonna rebet and spin to preserve the bankroll. That's the whole purpose of this channel, to preserve the bankroll. All right, that's a 9. That's the first loss, see? And I'm gonna just rebet and I'm gonna spin because we're still above $40, so I'm not going to risk the bankroll by increasing. That's a 13 black. Now that's a win. All right, so we're gonna rebet and spin. As long as you're in profit, don't increase. 36 red. That's a loss. So we're gonna rebet and see where we're at. We're still at $30, so we're gonna just rebet. That's it. 11 black. That's a win. All right, so that's a $10 win. See, that's why we don't increase. Rebet and spin. It's a 25 red. It's a loss, but we're just going to rebet and spin because we're still in profit. No need to risk more money. That's a 34 red. That's a loss, see? Now we're at even, I believe. So we're just going to rebet and we're going to take a look at where we are. We're at even, so we're just going to rebet and spin because we're not negative. Okay, that's a 2 black. That's a win. That's a $10 win. So we're going to rebet and spin. We're all about We're all about preserving the bankroll. And there we go. There's another $10 win. Let's rebet and spin. That's a 0. Okay, we just lost $20, but we're still even. So let's just rebet and spin. Let's not try to get that $10 back. It's not worth it. All right. That's a 19 red. That's a good one. All right, so we're going to rebet and spin. The thing you want to do with all systems is play as long as you can and preserve the bankroll. And that's a $20 loss. I believe that puts us negative now, so we're going to rebet. And yes, we're in the negative, so we will double the bet now and spin. That's a 24 black. That's a win. All right, and obviously I didn't double it, obviously. So we're going to rebet and spin. And that's a $20 loss, so we're going to rebet, and we are going to increase it now. Double it and spin, because we are down negative $20. But if we win here, we go back to base. 34 red. That's a loss though. So we're going to rebet, and we're going to go to 10 and 10 and spin. That's a 32 red. All right, that's a win. So we're going to rebet and spin because we're still in the negative. All right, so we got a 12. That's a loss. So we're going to rebet, and we're going to go up another 10 and 10 and spin. That's a 22 black. All right, that's a win. So we're going to rebet and see where we're at. Yep, and we got a spin. Remember, 50 negative, so we need a $50 win or better. 20, that is a jackpot number. So that puts us above. So we could definitely go back to the 10 and 10 and spin. Now we could stay at 10-10 for a long time now. And as long as we keep taking those $10 wins, we can stay even longer. Rebet and spin. That's a 31 black. I believe that's a loss. It is. But we're not going to increase because we're still in the positive. Rebet and spin. It's about preserving the bankroll. 6. Alright, that's a loss, but we're still not in the negative, so we're still going to just keep going with the $20. Now we got 4 spins to make some wins. Alright, so that's a loss. So we still got 3 more spins to make wins. Rebet and spin. Actually 4 more, because we're going to go, that's a 3, that's a loss. Okay, we're going to rebet and spin. Got 3 more because we'll be at 0. Oh, as soon as I said 0, the 0. All right, so now we're going to rebet and spin. All right, so if we lose this one, we'll go 1 more spin without betting. All right, well, we lost it, so we're going to rebet, and we're not going to increase yet because we're still at 0. Hopefully we take a win. That's 28 black. That's a loss. All right, so now we're going to go. Now we're going to increase the bet because we're in the negative and spin. 4 black. All right, that's a loss. So rebet and spin. I should have increased that. Sorry, guys. 12. That would have been a loss anyway, so I saved myself some money, but rebet, and we're going to increase by 10 more and spin. This is what happens when you get a lot of bad numbers. I mean, we were in the positive 120. All right, we won 30, but that doesn't bring us back, so we're just going to rebet and spin. Need a jackpot number. It's a 34 red. That's a loss. So we're going to rebet, and we're going to increase by 10 and 10 and spin. That's a 19. That's a good one. All right, so we're going to rebet and spin. That's a 25 red. That's a loss, so we're going to rebet. And we're going to increase by 10 on each and spin. That's a 16 red. That's a good one. It's a $50 win. Rebet and spin. We need 3 more of these. 29 black. That's another good one. Now we need 2 more like that. Rebet and spin. Even 1 more. 1 more and I will go back to base. 17, that's a jackpot number, so we don't have to worry about it. So that's a $200 win, so we definitely can go back to base. 10 and 10 and spin. Now we're up 130. We're preserving the bankroll here. That's a 14 red. That's a good jackpot number again. So we're going to rebet and spin. That's an 18 red. That's a $10 win. All right, rebet and spin. That's a 19. That's another good one. So we're going to rebet and spin. Let's keep getting these good numbers. That's a 19. That's another good number. 2 times in a row, 19. Rebet and spin. Can we get a 19 again? 3 times in a row. Nope, but we got a 10, and that is a loss. Okay, so we're just going to rebet and spin. We're not going to increase anything because we're still in the positive. There's no reason to risk the bankroll. That's a 25 red, because as you see, we can get negative numbers in a bunch of times. And if we're going to get in 8 times in a row, that's a jackpot number. So that's great. So we're just going to rebet and spin because we can get those jackpot numbers, and that's it. That's a 33 black. That's a loss. We're not going to increase the bet because we're still in the profit. Now we need 10 in a row in order to lose. 10 in a row. So if we get 10 in a row on $20, that's not bad. I mean, it is bad, but it won't be as bad as winning if you're doubling and you're putting an extra $20 up. So that's a 2. That's a win. So we're going to just rebet and spin. We're all about preserving the bankroll and try to make these systems last as long as we can. And, and this is all, credit as well. This will all go to your comp credits. So even though we lost, we're still up. So we're not going to increase. All right, that's a 13 black. That's a good one. All right, so we're going to rebet and spin. Let's see what this hour can do. 22 black. All right, that's a $10 win. Rebet and spin. There are systems out there that benefit when you increase the bet, but I'd rather save my bankroll. All right, so we're gonna rebet and spin. And don't forget, this is totally different than what you would do on a live table. A live table, an hour would have less spins, and same thing with a machine. Please comment below. What is it? CG, CTG? I don't even know. Just let me know what that is, and just comment that below and help me out with that because I'm totally lost. All right, and that's all right. So let's go ahead, rebet and spin because we won. That's a 7 red. All right, that's a loss, but we're not going to increase because we're still in the positive. So we're just going to rebet and spin. That's a 2. That's a win. Another $10 win. Rebet and spin. That's a 21 red. All right, another $10 win. Rebet and spin. More ammo. What I can call it, more ammo. That is definitely a good number. That is a jackpot number. So we just definitely gonna rebet and spin. All right, now we're up $230. That's a 6 black. All right, that's a loss. Rebet and spin. That'll be pretty hard to lose 10 in a row, 11 in a row, but it can happen, 27. But it's better to do it on just losing $20 at a time than losing more because you're increasing the bet. That's a win. All right, so that's a $10 win. So we're just going to rebet and spin. All right, that's a 31 black. That's a loss. So we're going to rebet and just spin. We're not going to increase the bets. That's an 8 black. That's a win. So we're going to rebet and spin. Preserving the bankroll. That's what this channel is all about. That's a 4 black. That's a loss. So we're going to rebet and spin. Tell me what you think in the comments below, what you think about my new channel and how I'm going to go more about it. About preserving the bankroll and trying to make systems last 1 hour and putting them up for the ultimate test. Let me know in the comments below. Okay, so we lost 2 in a row, see? But that's better than losing 20 and then 40. And then we'd be at 60 right now. And then we'd lose again. So then we'd be already depleted and we'd be in the negative already. So we're not going to take ourselves to the negative that quickly. Hopefully we can come back before that happens, and so far it's not looking good, but we're saving a lot of money by not increasing the bet. So it is about preserving the bankroll. That's a 30 red. All right, that's another loss, but rebet and spin. But like again, if we were putting $10 more on the thing, it wouldn't be a good thing right now. That's a 29 black. We finally got a win. So we're just gonna rebet, of course, and spin. It's a loss, all right, but we're not going to increase. We're just going to rebet and spin. Now we got to get 5 in a row of losses in order to go up. So we're just going to rebet and spin, even though we lost. 4 more losses and we have to increase. That's another loss. So we're just going to rebet and spin. $40. That's a 33 black. That's another loss. So we're going to rebet and spin. We lose this one and another one. We're going to have to increase. Oh, we lost it. All right. Well, now we're going to have to go up one more. And we're not going up. We're just going to do this last spin because we're still not in the negative. Now, if we win 10 here, we'll be in good shape, or even better yet, get a jackpot. We got a $10 win, so we're gonna rebet and spin. This will still take us down below, so we will have to increase anyway, but that's a win, so we're good. Now that just gave us an extra spin, rebet and spin. That gave us an extra spin. All right, that's a double zero, that's no good. So we're going to rebet and spin. Now if we lose here, then we're going to have to increase the bet. That's a 34 red. That's a loss. Okay, so now we're going to increase the bet. We're going to double it and spin because now we're in the negative. That's a 31 black. That's a loss. So we're going to rebet. And we're going to go up 10 and 10 and spin. It's a jackpot number. Let's see where that brings us. We're going to see where that brings us to 60. Okay, so we're just going to, I'm going to spin without betting because this thing is crazy and stupid. Actually, let me see. We bet 60, so rebet 10, 20, 30, 40. I think that brings us back. I think that brings us back. Sorry, gang, this thing is stupid. So, 18 red. All right, that's a win. That's a $10 win. So we're just going to rebet and spin. See, we're back up, so we get smart again and we stop increasing the bet. That's a 0. We're not looking for session profit. We're just looking for profit. Rebet and spin. We lost 20, but that's okay. We're still up 50 bucks. That's a 17. That's a jackpot number. That's a $40 win. So we're going to rebet and spin again. Let me know in the comments below what you like to do on this strategy. Do you like to just increase it even if you're in the not in the negative? If you're in the positive, you want to still increase? Or I know by increasing you can win a lot more money, but it's all about, on this channel, I'm going to try to preserve the bankroll. That's what it's going to be about. All right, that's a 20. That's a jackpot number. See, jackpot numbers come. So, rebet and spin. So just keep that all in mind. You know, that jackpot numbers can come. That's a 34 red. That's a loss. So we're going to rebet and spin. That's a 23 red. All right, that's a jackpot number. That's a $40 win. Rebet and spin. That gives me an extra 2 spins. And I'll last a long time on the roulette player playing roulette table playing it this way. Rebet and spin. And like I said, keep in mind that if you're playing a real table with a live dealer, it's going to last a lot longer. There's another jackpot win, see? Rebet and spin. It's going to last a lot longer. You'll be on the table for a lot longer. Because there's few spins. You won't take you an hour. It'll be just a half hour. $10. All right, that's a win. So we're just going to rebet and spin. All right, now we got nine losses that we can get. Not that I should be talking negative, because there's 1. You could get 9 in a row easily. But by not increasing the bet is better. 20, that's a great one. That gives me 2 extra spins. $40. So we're going to rebet and spin. And don't forget, you could walk away from the table anytime you feel that you're up. That's a 26 black. I just tested it for the full hour. That's a $10 win. So we're going to rebet that and spin. That's an 11 black. All right, that's another win. So we're going to rebet and spin. All right, so far we're doing good. I mean, we're holding our own. That's a 5, that's a win. Rebet and spin. You just keep taking these $10 wins in at a time. Don't worry, they'll come. The jackpot numbers will come. 35, that's a win. All right, so we're going to rebet and spin. You're up $220. You could walk away at this point and you'd be a happy man or happy woman. That's an 8. That's another win. Rebet and spin. It's all about trying to preserve that bankroll. That's a 22 black. So that's another win. Rebet and spin. It's a 4 black. All right, that's a loss. So we're just going to rebet and spin. We're not going to increase the bet. No reason to. We're still up $220. Now $200. So we're just going to rebet and spin. We're still up $200. I would walk away at this point. This is where it's good to make that evaluation point. You should have walked away with that $200, but you did take on another win by staying, so now you're up $210. But I would definitely consider walking away at this point. But there you go. You would have missed a jackpot number. So that jackpot number was great. So that's $40 win. So we're gonna rebet. And just rebet and spin. Now we're up $250. I would suggest walking away at this point. That's my advice to you, but there you go, another $10 win. Rebet and spin. Don't get greedy. Don't get greedy with this, because you can lose that. I did it before. I was up 260 before, and I did lose it all, even not increasing my bet. So we're not going to increase the bet because we're still in the positive. But like right now is a perfect time to say, okay, if I lose, if I get close to 200 or $200, if I get back down to $200, I'm going to leave. It's a great point to make that evaluation point because bam, you hit another jackpot number. So rebet and spin. Now you can make that reevaluation for $250. All right, you could say, oh, 250 is my walk away now. All right, so that's a 28. That's a loss. So you're gonna rebet and spin, and this would be your last roll if you were gonna play that strategy and play that evaluation point. But you got an 8, which is a win, so that keeps you in the game. So rebet and spin. All right, and 23 red. All right, that's a jackpot number. Look at that. All right, rebet and spin. Now you can make your evaluation point 300. If you lose this, you can walk away. 24 black. All right, that's still a win. That's a $10 win, so you take it. Rebet and spin. Your evaluation point is still 300, so if you lose this, you walk away, and you walk away with $10 extra. That's a loss. So now you would walk away with $310. Don't continue to play, guys. Don't continue to play. Walk away. You're good. But I'm going to, just for the sake of the video, and I said I was going to give this an hour, I am going to keep going. But I'm not going to increase my bets. All right, that's a 28 black. All right, that's another loss, so we're going to rebet and spin. See, you guys should have walked away at that $310, and if you did, good for you guys. All right, that's a 33 black. That's another loss, but we're going to rebet and spin. We're not going to increase the bet. That's another win. That's a $10 win. So we're going to rebet and spin. Okay, so we're just going to rebet and spin. That's a 30 red. All right, that's another loss. Rebet and spin. This is why you walk away when I told you to walk away. Hopefully you would have walked away at that point. I mean, unless you're still going to make that $200 your evaluation point, that's different. But rebet and spin, but you could have made that evaluation point a lot higher. All right, but 18 red. All right, that's a win. Rebet and spin. All right, that's a 26 black. That's another win. Rebet and spin. So we're bringing ourselves back up to 300 again, but you know, every loss or win, you just rebet and spin. That's it. That's a win. Rebet and spin. That's a 17. That's a jackpot number, guys. All right. So we're going to rebet and spin. Yes, I brought myself back up, but the point is you knew that you could have walked away with that $310, and that's exactly why. Okay, rebet and spin, but we're not going to increase. We're all about preserving the bankroll. I know I said it a million times, and you guys are probably sick of hearing it, but that's what I am trying to do, is preserve the bankroll. All right, that's a 19 red. That's a win. So we're going to rebet and spin. That's a 15 black. That's a win. Rebet and spin. We're at $300. That's a 5. That's a win. So we're going to rebet and spin. That's a 29 black. That's a win. Rebet and spin. All right, we're at 320. That's a 19 red. That's a win. Rebet and spin. It's a 34 red. That's a loss. So we're going to just rebet and spin. We're not going to increase the bet. That's a 13 black. That's a win. So we're going to rebet and spin. This channel is all about trying to go as far as we can with 1 hour, and hope that's a win, and hope that we make a profit. Rebet and spin on an hour's worth of play. That's a double zero. That's no good for anybody. But we're not going to increase the bet because we want to extend our play. That's a 31 black. That's another loss. But we're still not going to increase the bet because we want to extend our play and keep the bankroll preserved. 14. All right, that's a jackpot number. That's good. Rebet and spin. All right, guys. So now we're at another place where we can evaluate again. So I would definitely walk away at this point. Right at that point, rebet and spin. I would walk away with that $310 profit and be happy. That's a 32 red. It's another win. All right, so we're going to rebet and spin, obviously. We're not going to increase, obviously. We won. That's a loss, so we're going to just rebet and spin. We're not going to increase. No reason to increase when you're in the profit zone. That's a 15. It's a $10 win. All right, that's a rebet and spin. That's a 9 red. All right, that's a loss. Rebet and spin. Not going to increase the bet on losses unless we get below zero. That's a 4 black. And don't think about it when you back down to zero. Don't think about it and say, oh, it was so much up. No, you should have walked away then. You should have walked away then. You shouldn't have continued. You know, because that's what people will be thinking. Oh my God, I'm back down to my zero balance. But if you would have walked away when I told you set your evaluation points, you'll be fine. Spin. You don't want to wait until you're down. 29 black. I only do this for you guys to show you an hour, to give you the hour test on these systems. And an hour test on this device and an hour test on a real table is going to be different because the timing is totally off. You don't have as many spins on a live table, even on a machine at the internet. On a table on the machines, you don't have as many spins either. Okay, and it's good because you don't have to think too much. You know it's always a rebet and spin when you're up this high. All right, that's a loss, so we're gonna rebet and spin. Because even that's gonna be slower than this. Not as much, not as much as a table game, but it will be. All right, so that's a win. See, wins will come. Just be patient. That's a 34 red. That's a loss. So we're gonna rebet and spin. So we know 2, 5, 8, and 11 are good numbers. We know 1 is bad. 2, 5, 8, 11, and 26, 29, 32, 35 are good numbers. Okay, reset and spin. You should have walked away at the 300. That's my point. 3 is not a good number. So we're gonna just rebet and spin. So you guys should have walked away a long time ago, so you guys would have been fine. But I'm just showing you the whole system. All right, so rebet and spin. We're up another 10 bucks. That's good. That's a 12. That's a bad number. Rebet and spin. That's a 9. That's no good. Rebet and spin. Don't let yourself get down this much, because then you're going to be thinking about it and saying, oh, I was up 300, now I'm at 170. You got to stop thinking like that. You got to get out when you can. When you're up that high, just leave the table. Even if you leave the table for an hour or so and then come back, but leave. Don't let yourself get into a rut and keep staying at the machine. It's not going to help you. So, like I said, even on losses, I'm just going to rebet and spin until I get below 0. Hopefully I won't. That's a $10 win. Hopefully I get some jackpot numbers and bring myself back up to 300. That would be nice. There's a 17, speaking of which. All right, great. That's a jackpot number, so we just got to rebet and spin. Now we're back up to 10. I'd walk away at this point. If I did continue, when I should have left at 300. If I did continue, I would leave now, because now I'm up $220. I'd leave now definitely. But 34. So rebet, rebet, and spin. That's a 35 black. That's a win. Bet and spin. 27 red. That's a loss. So we're just gonna rebet and spin. This system's holding out pretty well. I could play this for a while on a machine, or on a live table. This is a good rating for me. I think this system is very good, as long as you do what I do and only increase the bet if you're in the negative numbers. I think that'll extend your play, and it'll also preserve your bankroll. But nothing is foolproof, obviously, because like you see here now, I'm getting a lot of losses in a row. But if you would have listened to me earlier in the game, and you would have left with that $300, that would have been plus. So now we just got another bonus, just got another jackpot number. So the jackpot numbers